Learning Spanish for Beginners podcast, session 36. How to count from 1 to 10 in Spanish. Hola, welcome to a new session of the Learning Spanish for Beginners podcast. In this session, we will learn how to count from 1 to 10 in Spanish, and we will review a few examples. Today's episode is brought to you by 15-minute Spanish crash course for beginners. Would you like to speak conversational Spanish with confidence in real life? You can get a 7-day free trial with daily quick video lessons for beginners at SpanishForYourJob.com/beginners. The 15-minute Spanish crash course for beginners focuses on simple conversational Spanish you can learn quickly without having to memorize lots of confusing conjugations to get started. Get your 7-day free trial with daily 15-minute video lessons for beginners at SpanishForYourJob.com/beginners. Here it is one more time. SpanishForYourJob.com/beginners. Okay, let's get started. Let's start by reviewing the numbers in Spanish from 1 to 10. Here we go. 1 is uno. 2, dos. 3, tres. 4, cuatro. 5, cinco. 6, seis. 7, siete. 8, ocho. 9, nueve. 10, diez. Now, let's take a moment to go over a few tips that will make learning these numbers easier for you. Let's begin with number 1, which in Spanish is known as uno. This one is easy to remember. Just flip the word 1 backwards and you will get E-N-O, ino, which sounds a little similar to uno. And that is enough to help you remember how to say 1 in Spanish. Uno. Now, let's learn the number 2, which in Spanish is called dos. Imagine you're in a hospital and 2 doctors say this at the same time. Try to visualize it using as many senses as you can, as many colors, as many smells, as many loud sounds. Here it goes. Imagine this. Take a dose of this 2 times per day. So imagine a doctor telling you that. Take a dose of this 2 times per day. The English word dose sounds similar to the number 2 in Spanish, which is dos. This mental image will help you remember how to say 2 in Spanish. Dos. Next is the number 3. This one is easy as well. 3 and tres are very similar. Just add a letter S at the end of the word 3 and you will have threes. If you change the double E for EH or something that sounds like EH, you will get very close. You will go from 3 to threes and then tres. And that is very close to the word for 3 in Spanish. Tres. Now, Let's look at number 4, which in Spanish is cuatro. A simple way to memorize this number in Spanish is to think of the word quarter. Let's keep in mind that 4 quarters equal 1. If you take the word quarter and change the ER ending for the letter O, you get cuarto. And that is very similar to cuatro, the equivalent of 4 in Spanish. Here it is one more time. 4, cuatro. Next, we have the number 5, known as cinco in Spanish. A fun way to remember the Spanish equivalent of the number 5 is to think of the holiday known as Cinco de Mayo, which translates as 5 of May. May is the 5th month of the year, so Cinco de Mayo is 5 of the 5th. Thinking about this festivity will help you remember how to say 5 in Spanish. Cinco. Now, let's look at number 6, which is known as seis in Spanish. An imaginative way to learn this number in Spanish is to think of this aggressive phrase. 6 is a sexist number. Just remove the letters X and T from the word sexist, and you will get the phrase 6 is seis. And that is a simple way to remember that 6 is seis in Spanish. The next number on the list is 7, known as siete in Spanish. An easy way to memorize it is to remember how number 7 is often associated with the divine. Having that in mind, try to visualize this phrase using as many senses as you can, bright colors, big lights, anything you can. Here's the phrase: see eternity. If you separate the phrase so it sounds like this, see eternity, and you only keep the first half, you get siete. And that sounds similar to the word for 7 in Spanish, siete. Number 8 is easy to memorize. Just imagine having 8 chocolate bars in front of you. If you take a closer look at number 8, it looks like 2 O's, one on top of the other. If you place both O's next to each other, you get something like O, O. And all you have to do is get the CH from the word chocolate and place it between the 2 O's, and you get ocho, the word for 8 in Spanish. Here it is one more time. 8, ocho. We're almost done. The next number on the list is number 9. To memorize it, just imagine you are at a New Year's Eve party having a great time with 9 of your friends. A shorter way to say New Year's Eve party is to say New Year's Eve party. And if you remove the words years and party, you get New Eve, New Eve, New Eve, which sounds similar to the word for 9 in Spanish, nueve. Now, let's look at the last number on this list, number 10. To memorize it, just think of the phrase, learning 10 numbers in Spanish is not difficult stuff. A shorter way to say that is, learning 10 numbers in Spanish is not DS. Instead of saying difficult stuff, you say DS. And DS sounds a lot like diez, the word in Spanish for the number 10, diez. Now that you have these unusual mental associations and phrases, Remembering the numbers from 1 to 10 in Spanish will be much easier. There is one additional note about numbers in Spanish I want to mention. Whenever the number 1 is used before a noun, for example, one coin, which in Spanish is una moneda, or one pencil, which in Spanish is un lápiz, the word one in Spanish should match the grammatical gender of the noun. This is not needed with the rest of the Spanish numbers, only with number 1. The singular masculine form is un, and the singular feminine form is una. Let's look at a few examples of how to use the number 1 with feminine nouns. One screen, una pantalla. One window, una ventana. One spoon, una cuchara. Now, let's review a few examples of how to use the number 1 with masculine nouns. One pencil, un lápiz. One shoe, un zapato. One music player, un reproductor de música. So, if you're counting, use uno, as in uno, dos, tres. And if you're specifying the amount of something, use the word un or una depending on the grammatical gender of the noun you are talking about. For example, un carro rojo. One red car. Un carro rojo. Una casa amarilla. One yellow house. Una casa amarilla. Although it may feel a little difficult at first, you will do it automatically with a little practice. Mastering the numbers in Spanish from 1 to 10 is very important for beginners learning Spanish because it is something you will use often in everyday life. Next time you go grocery shopping or count money, use the numbers in Spanish to count inside your head so you can practice every day. By the way, if you would like to learn Spanish faster by learning the 100 most common words in spoken Spanish, you can visit SpanishForYourJob.com/common words, where you will find a list of the most common words used in spoken Spanish. To access the list of most common words, you can visit SpanishForYourJob.com/common words. Also, if you would like to review a text version of this session, you can access a PDF transcript at learningspanishforbeginners.com/36. That's all for today. Thanks for listening to the Learning Spanish for Beginners podcast. If you're enjoying this, please leave a review and share it with one friend of yours who also wants to learn more Spanish. See you next time. Hasta la próxima.